Dante's Discussion. Welcome back to another edition of Dante's Discussion. That's right, I'm back. This time it's the answers portion of the famed question, what is the best way to deal with gankers? As you can see, I posted this, obviously on the video on YouTube, but also at FextraLife like I usually do, because there's other lovers of Dark Souls 2, and that's the game we're dealing with at this moment. But yes, what is the best way to deal with gankers? You know, I say here in this, usually what happens is when you're ganked, you have one or two people that run in, try to bash it, and then at least one or two people who just throw all the magic spells forever at you, or great arrows, which if you get hit by, you fall over. You know, it's just that simple. But anyways, let's get this started off real quick, real easy. We go to FextraLife, XOZ Force, Iron Keep, roll, Entella, or jump over to where red guy is. At climb ladder, most of time I just roll. Entella, only time I die if door is closed. Sorry if I had to put that little rug accent or caveman accent, but this guy's probably, I'm hoping, maybe not English is his first language. I don't know, I could be wrong. Maybe he just got lazy, who knows. Either way, I thought it was funny. But yeah, roll. He's talking about where the I guess you would say in the Iron Keep, if you run across where the fire is kept, I believe that's where he's talking about. And you go there. If door is closed, he says he dies if the door is closed. That means the door to the rest of the Iron Keep. But I think he's talking about, I think it's the middle part where the two red phantoms are. And that's pretty good. You run there, and it's tough for them to deal with that because red phantoms can be pretty brutal, at least with the damage. I think that's, any new game plus after that they are there. Not originally, I don't think. I can't remember. All right, and then we go to the man who laughs. He says, it takes about a couple of seconds to size up the situation if there are multiple players against me. If it is an obvious gank, they summon me to clobber me, for instance, I usually have a quick moment to find the host and go for a suicide run. That seems to be a common theme with a lot of people. Go for the host. I've been playing a Hexer lately, and I have got myself through more than a few ganks, rolling like a freak and tossing climax. Climax is also a thing a lot of people like to use. Other times, if I mismatch, I'll try to be as annoying as possible. I love this approach, being super annoying. That's why I never put a soapstone down without having acid pyromancy on backup. I love that. I love punishing gankers, making them have to repair their gear, have to go back to, Majula or who is it? McDuff? I forgot what the hell the other guy's name is. Whatever. Have to go back to a blacksmith and repair your stuff. It's sort of like you win in that aspect. If you hear that whatever that breaks, even if you get clobbered in 2 seconds after that, I would say you won the fight because you've out-annoyed them. You're dead. You're continuing to play. You're just going to, get summoned somewhere else 2 seconds later, whereas they have to disband their group. One person has to leave, whatever's broken. I mean, unless, of course, they have copies of everything, which is, I guess it's unlikely, but it's possible. So, next person says, Exuitus the Great. Depends on your build, but backpedal a lot and try to cause them to string out, then have a small 1v1 skirmish over and over until you win. Yeah, this is how I try to do it. I don't care who the way my characters are always, since I have basically all items in my inventory, I can't switch quickly because of all the videos I do. So, I have to be ready to be able to do whatever video I feel like doing, I guess. So I have every single weapon, and it's just tough to switch. And I don't have climax because that's just not how my character is, and all this great magic bear. I don't have anything. And nothing really good for ganking, so I just try to get one-on-one. Jerry 007 says, generally I try to go for the host if he's being aggressive. Otherwise, I aim for whoever's inevitably hiding behind his friends spamming spells. Whatever enemies I can find, I attempt to use to my advantage so I can heal myself up. Another skill I've learned during PvP is how to recognize and evade spells by the sound that they make while being fired. Yes, this is one thing I utilize very well. One thing that sucks though, that has ruined me in the past, is if this person has no casting speed, sometimes that can actually really throw you off. You think it's gonna happen sooner than later, maybe you roll a little bit sooner. It sucks. I've gotten caught by people with very terrible casting speeds before because I'm just not used to how terrible it can be. It's not as big of a deal now, I guess, since the patch, but it still is kind of weird. Sometimes you can get caught off guard. What else does it say? He says dodging by sound is especially helpful whilst trying to run away from gankers to heal or find enemies. My general strategy for battling gankers involve playing defensively and evasively. Being very aggressive will usually result in a quick death unless you came with something like Climax or another game changer. I sort of agree with that. You know, it's rarely are you going to one-shot somebody. In my experience, gankers are usually at least slightly lower level than you, I would assume, in most cases. Probably why they're ganking. So, you know, you could probably do a few less shots, but still, it's going to take, you know, at least 3 shots with, I'm guessing, most weapons if you're lucky enough to get them off to kill them. So if that's the case, it's very tough because then they just basically sub out. 2 run back in, the one runs and hides. Usually what I find is one is just dumb and they're like, their health is low and they're like, oh, how am I gonna lose? And then you just attack them, you kill them, and you're like, why'd you do that? A lot of times it's a little bit ridiculous. All right, let's go back to YouTube. Legit Games trademark. You know, I gotta say, Legit Games, if you can tell me, how'd you put the trademark thing in there? You know, how'd you put the little TM up there? I don't know how to do that. Anyways, I usually go for the host. The host is often overconfident. I think this is definitely true, when he is or she is in the company of his summons. So in this state, he will be less defensive and less offensive. Less offensive? I think he'll be more offensive but less defensive. Maybe I'm wrong there. Take advantage of this by laying on the pressure while doing your best to avoid the summons. Ganks are not as difficult as they seem. I think there's situations where ganks are extremely difficult. You know, if you're not prepared for a gank, like me, I'm almost never prepared for a gank ever. Just never, because like that's not how I play. Like I don't have enough slots to have these backup, you know, things. Like I have like 35 million souls I'm carrying around right now. I don't want to use Climax and lose 35 million souls. I mean, maybe that's just me. I don't know. I don't want to level up, so like I don't know what the hell to do with them. I don't know what's wrong with me. I mean, my guy's way too high level anyway. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. Either way, Sharky Brand says, simple, warmth, and a big old weapon to swing over my head, preferably an ultra greatsword or Murakuma. Murakuma is interesting. I wonder if he one-hands that. The one-hand radius attack is kind of crazy with that thing. Although I'm not that great with dealing with gankers. Either way, I think that's awesome that he admits that. I mean, I'm not that great. My percentage with gankers has gone up. It used to be like literally like 1% of the time I might do all right. Now it's probably closer to 10%. I still, because I'm a brute character, so I'm still like dumb and I just run at him like, whatever, spells can't hurt me. Then I get hit with a hex, and guess what happens? I lose half my stamina, and then that's like all she wrote. Like once I lose my stamina, it's you're in bad shape. I think stamina sort of recovery and is the best. Like that, I think that's one of the best ways to deal with gankers is make sure you have stamina to get away or to do what you want to do. That's why a lot of these big weapons are a little bit tough to deal with because, like, you know, they eat your stamina like nobody's business. All right, so let's see what Mirzi has. Mirzi says, just for the record, I have never ganked. Of course he has to say that. He's never ganked. Okay, Mirzi, fine. Big man Mirzi, never ganked. All right. The way I deal with gankers that summon me on the Iron Key Bridge. So I have this build that is an anti-caster build and can pretty much take Crystal Soul Spears, Wrath of the Gods, Chaos, Great Chaos Fireball, and yes, a Climax to the face, and it does less than 100 damage. So the first thing I would do is buff Great Magic Barrier, make a dash towards the bonfire location, and walk under the stairs on the fire to compose myself. All right, I like this. This is also a strategy for a lot of trolls. They use Flash Sweat. Obviously, I need to use repair powder and keep Great Magic Barrier topped up to stand on the fire area. My technique is to lure them towards the fire. Usually, they have no idea what to do. Some try to use a curved dragon greatsword or whatever, and it doesn't work. If I can't pick them off one by one, then I have to wait for the perfect moment to fire a climax at the host. 9 out of 10 it one-shots the host, but if not, then I run and get the last hit no matter what. I love it. I love trolling gankers. Mirzi, you should test out using Flash Sweat. Flash Sweat works really well on the fire. Flash Sweat and Great Magic Barrier. It probably does no damage to you at all. But yeah, I love it. I love just trolling gankers. I mean, I haven't really done it myself because that's not my character, but it's pretty awesome. All right, Stealth Rider. Stealth Rider says, once I realize I'm being ganked, step 1, he says, once I realize I'm being ganked, I immediately swap into Jester's chest to protect my anus. Don't fault you for that one, because that's usually what they go for, is the easy kill or the easy hit. If I have time, I'll also swap to Santir Spear to be used in step 2. All right, let's look at step 2, shall we? All right, I run through RHE Building. I mean, you know, he probably means the. I run through the building and out toward the Smelter Fog Gate. The Elan captains and their great bows make good allies, and the tight quarters make for a good place to drop warmth if needed. Pull out a bow of my own and or lure them into a fighting me mano a mano. Usually ends with the host or a brave phantom tasting a propeller wall sandwich. I like it. Propeller wall sandwich sounds good to me. Wonder if he uses a great bow. You could probably get him, you know, a lot of trolls like to use a great bow, lure you out to, you know, the various areas of the Iron Keep, and, you know, usually you can just fall in the lava and you're dead, so test that out. Step 3, if they're killing the captains, it's time to make for the lava platforms with the ironclad on them. That's interesting. I haven't really seen people go that far. That's really far. If you made it that far, you're doing pretty good, because you have to then go up the ladder, and hopefully they're not by you, because if they're by you, they're gonna shoot stuff at you, or, you know, you're gonna be in pretty bad shape. So if you can make it that far, that's pretty amazing. More advantage spots to pull out a bow and draw them into a fiery death. After that, it's up to the ladders to the captain trio. Usually that's where I make my last stand. I can't get through the gate. I just crystal out, assuming they didn't immediately kill me. Then I spawned like some effers will. I like this. I don't think, I mean, at least I don't really know, because I don't really run when I'm getting ganked, but I don't think anybody ever clears out that second part of the Iron Keep, ever. The first part, sure, definitely, but the second part, I guess no one ever really thinks they're gonna get that far. So I really like going that far and using that type of advantage, even if they use the you know, the seed of the tree. But even if they use the seed, if they use the seed, you can. There's still many places to go there that you just can't be hit, like in that little. Actually, I don't know if you can go in that little room, but there's just ways out of it. You know, ways out of it. I love it. I love it. Kyle Lilly says Xbox Live's Lord Relic. That's right. He says Harry plus Climax equals DED dead. Harry plus Climax. That's it. It is a lot easier to parry gankers. And one, I've had this happen only like once, but I've parried 2 gankers at one time, and then I went for the host and destroyed the host. It was awesome. Only had that happen one time, and of course, didn't get to record it. Nathorn says the golf swing before it was nerfed. I love this. Now this is probably more typical of the Iron Keep bridge, I'm assuming. And I'm assuming the golf swing is the one that is, you know, you drag it on the ground with ultra great swords and boom, up in the air, and they can go off the bridge. It's really dumb that they patched that. That's actually really stupid. It makes no sense why they patched that, because it's not like that was a problem. Like that wasn't that should be in the game, because why the hell wouldn't it be? Like, let people fly off the bridge. That's awesome. Whatever. Damn it. All right. Let's look at some real answers now, finally. Inept Darklighter says, the best tactic to deal with gankers is to scream, throw your controller, and send all of the people colorful messages once your rage has subsided. Or simply just become a ganker so you don't have to deal with it. throwing random household objects can help you vent from gang spanks, I must admit. Or just be max level with Chaos Rapier, I think he means Chaos Blade, and mods and lag switches help also. Whichever you prefer, man, but I think my wisdom is sound and certain. Lol. He's correct. Chaos Blade, max level, mods, switches, you can't lose. Alright, now let's go back for the final two. On FextraLife, of course. We'll go by Forum Pirate. He gives a very, very incisive list here of what he does or what really works. This is a semi-similar in aspects to what Mirzi said, but Forum Pirate says, you can get elemental immunity or near immunity. Now, this is usually my biggest problem, is the people who are firing from a distance. So this, you know, is something to look at. Depending on your level of dedication, with Great Magic Barrier, Dispelling Ring +1, Intelligence and Faith to 30, I guess, light or medium armor. The Black Witch Dress is great for this. I think that probably has maybe up to the best elemental defense. This will gimp spells and cripple infused weapons. That said, I have a couple tactics. Separating them, if you can, is key. And any chance you get for a few seconds of 1v1 is a chance to kill one fairly easily. If one or two are hanging back with range attacks, use walls or trees to block their view and potentially lure them to a close enough to kill. That's exactly what I do. I always use the wall, try to get around it, try to get them closer. Burst damage is key, I agree. They have 3 times the HP you do and can flash where you can't. So when you hit, you need to hit hard because they crit so hard. Daggers are good to keep around, and also ultra great swords as well. Yes, I agree with this. You need no vertical movements, as he says next. Avoid purely vertical movesets if possible. You need to keep 2 or 3 people at bay. You need to be able to threaten all of them at once. Most ultra great swords are good for this. As are ultras with spinning, R2s, or roll attacks. Yes, I definitely agree with this. Being able to have a radius of attack is spectacular, especially when they're all, you know, trying to climb up on each other to attack you. You know, if they're clumped up, the radius of attack is great, especially when they, you know, they try to backstab you. But that's also where gestures can come in handy. Either way, radius really works well. Knockbacks are your friend, definitely agree. The ultra great sword, the Drake Keeper's great axe, sorry, or Stone Giant's Club spinning R2 will pancake 3 people for 1,000 to 1,400 damage each and buy you space to maneuver. Now, I don't know. Okay. I know my character is like a high level. I don't do this damage. I don't know what is going on here. I don't know if he's super buffing. 1,400 damage on just a pancake attack. I don't know what's going on here, but I want to see it. Poison is your friend. They can heal through it or cure, but that's time where they aren't attacking you. Now, this is definitely true. I haven't really utilized poison, but I think poison is actually an awesome idea. Area control is important, obviously. As with horizontal attacks, lingering flames, if you find time to cast it, toxic mist and scraps of life are great for buying yourself space and time. The toxic mist doubling as a way to hide what you're doing in behind the cloud. Yes, this is something I haven't really utilized at all either, is putting up the cloud so you can sort of run away and not be hit or sniped or whatever you want to call it. Toxic, fantastic. Lingering flame, that takes forever to cast, but if you can get that out, that'll buy you some time, especially for stamina recovery, and that's very important. Phantoms aren't important. Engage them if you must, but the host is the only one that has to die for you to win, so going for them where possible is ideal. Now, I half agree with this. The way I usually deal with gankers is whoever's close to me, they're getting hit, because I don't have climax or any of those really punishing things for the host. I usually try to pick them off one by one, because especially if it's just a 2-person gank, if I can kill one of them, it's almost certain that I can kill the other guy, even if I have, you know, very little health. His gankers, I mean, if you will, usually are lower skill level. So that's what I try to do. I just try to pick them off one by one. If I can get 1 kill, in my eyes, I win. Really, I don't lose even if I lose, because the hell are you supposed to do sometimes? Don't chase them. If they're fleeing, you control the area, of course. Take the opportunity to heal, rebuff, cast more lingering flames. They're just trying to ambush you or get NPCs to turn on you with the seed. Better they escape to the boss than succeed in killing you. Yes, I half agree with this. Also, now, if you have them hurt and they're running away, I attack them. I mean, especially if I have like a lance. A lance is pretty easy to destroy someone who's running away. I try to get it over with. If I see that, you know, a seed is being used, or if I'm lower health, maybe I won't. But usually I try to attack them because F that, man. Like, what the hell do I have to lose? They have all the things to lose. I have nothing to lose. I'll just be back in 2 seconds anyway. So, yeah, screw them. All right, and last but not least, Malx says, the most effective way to deal with gankers is to kill the host. As most people say, obviously. If you kill the host, it's over. You don't have to kill the other two. Although I like killing people. Even if it's just a pot shot, if it lands and kills them, that's it. That is that. The most important thing is knowing what you can do and approximately what the enemy can do. You can't plan for every situation, but you can tell from their equipment what they can do. Most of the time, sure. After that, it's just figure out if it's best to run away and control area or quickly deal with the host. Assessing the situation is the key to success. Doing it fast is even better, obviously. This requires you to memorize a good deal of models, but overall, it'll help. Usually what I look for is, if I see all of them running towards me, I'm attacking them, straight up. If I see just one running towards me, I go for the people who are back there, because I don't want to be shot at. Like, that's my personal enemy, is being shot at from a distance. And then that's usually what happens. A lot of times what happens to me is I'll get comboed. So I'll get hit with, you know, like an arrow. Or I'll get hit with a hex. Then I'll get stabbed with a rapier. Then other guy will bring an ultra greatsword. Rapier, hex. And then it's like a weird circle that I can't get out of. That's what usually happens to me, and it's terrible. Because I'm an aggressive player. Okay. For example, I have a Ryugu build. I believe there's actually 3 U's in that, buddy. Now, I actually had to look this up because I didn't know who that was. It is somebody from, I believe, Japanese animation. So, I don't know what that means. You like what you like? I don't know. Beautiful, of course. Big eyes, obviously. Its biggest focus, if you can call it that, is Rushdown. It is designed to punish turtles. Dual Kestis, or Cestus, I don't know how you say it, can quickly rip through shield, stamina, and health. And a blood-infused butcher's knife can cause some massive pressure. Now, this is already interesting. Blood-infused butcher knife? I would like to know why. Why is that one better with blood? That's not initially has bleed damage, right? That is very interesting to me. I do like it, though, that you can gain life from it. So that's cool, but blood infused, that's very interesting. I guess slowing them down, making their stamina less is better. But I feel like there's better weapons to do that with than the butcher's knife. I could be wrong. And damage if the bleed goes off. A Pyromancy Flame with a great fireball and Fire Tempest rounds it out with some area control. It also has a chime and force, but that's for thematic purposes. Even if still situationally useful. For a build like that, rushing the host is probably the most effective method. However, that depends on the skill and equipment of the phantoms involved. If they have really good area control, getting near the host gets much harder, and in that situation you need to be crafty. Ambushes are the key. Finding an area that will most benefit Fire Tempest would be the best idea, while keeping yourself hidden enough for them to get close right as it goes off. It's all a matter of you and your build against them and theirs. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. It's, if you're a person who's really good at switching, you're probably a lot better versus gankers. I mean, I'm not good at switching because I have everything in my inventory because of how I record and stuff. But yeah, I really like using Pyromancy. I like the idea of Fire Tempest. I actually can't remember which one that is, but using, you know, even Outcry or whatever type of burst up radius attacks is awesome. It's fantastic. You know, even when they get close, a lot of Pyromancies actually work for ganking. It's very interesting. Get close, you can use Flame Swath. I mean, you could use all this stuff I think Pyromancy might be one of the better ways to deal with gankers, because you have AoE, you have range attack, you have all this stuff. Fire whip, which is awesome because it's like crazy radius of attack with that thing, so anybody gets close, they're getting burned. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I appreciate all the answers. I wanted to wait to get a few more answers because I didn't get as many as I wanted. So I got a lot more answers. As far as ganking, like I've sprinkled in here and there. Best way I try to deal with it is just take them one-on-one as best as possible. Unless they're clumped together, then you want to try to hit them all at once. Now, since I always use a stone ring, I almost always stun people. So that's like a great way to deal with them. But then the problem with that is then one splinters off and they're like, oh, this guy's one of these guys. They probably get pissed too. They're like, this guy's one of these guys where he just tries to hit us and stuff. And then it starts throwing, soul arrows and all this other garbage. That's my biggest problem. So Great Magic Barrier might be the most benefit to me. Yeah, Jesters, I can maybe switch to Jesters a little bit more quickly or something. And I don't know, there's a lot of options out there. There's no one size fits all as far as I understand. I mean, if it's a good gank squad, which I've rarely seen, I don't know. Like, if you have the door closed, it's a decent gank squad. It's going to be very difficult for someone to pull that through without a lucky climax to somebody who's shooting something. I mean, 1 versus 1. Come on, gankers. What the hell are you doing? Anyways, thank you for staying tuned and being patient for this episode of Dante's Discussion. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think. Also, if you would like, tell me some other topics maybe you want me to ask. Of course, I could always think of a lot of topics, but I want to think of topics that maybe you are interested in. Maybe I can get more responses that way. So that's up to you. Anyways, like I said before, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think, and I will be back